Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, Game7Baseball.com. Winter workout tour, full swing. Go check out Game7Baseball.com. Get your team registered. Got some great discounts going on, great venues. The new venue, Turf, in Warrenton. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got some great stuff. Going to be down at Ballparks National, Ballparks of America. Great stuff happening. We're headed to Nashville this weekend, folks. We're going to be doing more and more. And make sure you check out coming Monday, the 29th, our first leg with Mackensites. We will be posting that up. Great tour stop there. Nick Crouch, Danny Lake, thanks again. It was a lot of fun there at Mackensites. Then we'll have Inside Edge the following week. Looking forward to that one as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that as it comes up. But Nashville, we're heading down there. We'll see. We'll be showing some social media stuff when we get down there. Appreciate Game 7 Baseball and all they do in supporting Youth Baseball Midwest. Can't say enough about that. So make sure we got some great stuff coming up this year with Game 7 Baseball out at the ballparks. Game7Baseball.com. On the Prime Sports Midwest call-in link, as always, the guru, Mr. Kevin Moulder. How we doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great. Kicked off our winter season this past weekend down in Springfield at the Marucci Clubhouse. Got to see a lot of really good Springfield and Southwest Missouri area players, and was not disappointed. It's a good way to start off the winter.
Oh, that'll bode well. We'll have to come back and get into that. It gives you a little more perspective on the schools in that area, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And we've talked about this for quite some time now. That area does a great job. Commitment level is very high. Like investment into their programs, great resources, facilities, and a lot of really good players. So it's fun to get down there.
I got to stay away from that because, man, that gets me flowing. I'm like, yeah.
Well, that's a different show. Sorry. My fault, Brian.
No. That's good. I love that, though, because this is, and you have been saying that, this is when you really get that next perspective and where those things really jump. So it'll be a lot of fun over the next few weeks ramping up because, spring training's right around the corner, right?
It is.
And baseball's going to be kicking off, so we got a lot of fun stuff here, Kevin. Hey, folks, make sure if you want to follow Kevin Moulder, Prep Baseball Report, PBR Missouri on Twitter and Instagram, and then Kevin himself at PBR_Moulder on Twitter and Instagram. Did I get those right, Kevin? Yes. Sweet. Make sure it's a great follow, folks. Make sure you do that. We appreciate Kevin very much coming on. Love this. We're going to have him out as much as we can, calling games with us. We got a great slate of games coming up, Kevin.
I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah, we're going to pop the schedule here for too long, but just we're going to open with Liberty and. No, we're opening with St. Charles West, actually. We're opening with St. Charles West. And is it Winfield? Yes. St. Charles West and Winfield. I think that's a great GAC North matchup. Winfield's got a lot of guys coming back. Brady Creech over there. I like him a lot. We're going to have Brady Creech on a player spotlight here for too long up at Winfield. And then St. Charles West, Brennan Goring leading that team again. I think that's a really good matchup, Kevin.
Absolutely. That'll be a fun one.
And that's two Class 4 teams, which we're talking about here, and teams that I think are going to be in the mix for an opportunity for district titles. I really do think so.
I agree.
So, and then we got a Liberty Fort Zumwalt South matchup too, dude. I'm hoping to see a Ty Holman Carter Cox matchup. Would that be fun?
That'd be fun. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We don't know yet. But our GAC finale, and I think I said this to you. I haven't announced this. I don't think I've said it on air yet. But our GAC finale is in concert. We're going to be. This is something we're going to do. This is going to stretch us a bit, but we're gonna work this one. We're going to be in Liberty, Missouri, on that Monday for Staley versus Liberty North. Dave Wilson, looking forward to that. Ryan Stiegel, great matchup there on that Monday. We're coming back the following on that same week and Tuesday, finale of the GAC Game of the Week. We got Francis Howell, Fort Zumwalt West.
That's a week right there.
I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that. The following week.
What week did you say that is?
That is the last week in April. I believe it's
okay.
April. I think it's the 29th and the 30th, Kevin.
Good.
Yeah.
Everyone should be at full stride by that point in the year. That'll be good. We should have the winter coats put up, hopefully, by then.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And our finale, we do have our finale set. We're going to go down to Jackson. We're going to be at Jackson for a CBC in Jackson. We're going to come back to that. I'm looking forward to that one.
One of my favorite game day atmospheres, if not my favorite, in all of Missouri.
That's why we did it, Kevin.
Folks at Jackson do it right.
So I think we got some great stuff coming up. We got our Missouri. We're going to do the Missouri American Legion State Championships again. I'm hoping to talk with Kent Getsy at Washington Post 218. Missouri American Legion baseball is hosting the Mid-South Regionals in Washington, Missouri. So you got all these state champs in the Mid-South coming to Washington, Missouri, and I'm hoping to get a little maybe coverage in there as well. So we got some great stuff. We're going to be live streaming from Busch Stadium again for the All-Star game, the Gateway Border War between Missouri, Illinois, all-star teams of Legion baseball. Oh, yeah. We're going to be busy. It's going to be fun.
Love it. Good busy.
That's right. So see on that screen there where it says like, share. Make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. We got some great stuff coming up, live events. You get to see more of Kevin Moulder talking baseball. It's fantastic. Hit that dinger. Get your notifications for all these upcoming episodes.
So this area back here is basically production. They do a lot of the artwork back here. They do the production. So any of that stuff that comes in off of, we'll say, our fanware stores, stuff that comes in off the team stores, a lot of the coaches wear, a lot of the last minute, hey, we got to have it in the next 10 minutes stuff. That's all comes back here. This area is where all the day-to-day stuff that comes in really goes through. The retail store is its own little entity. This is where the real work is done.
Let's get into it, Kevin. We've got Class 4, which I'm going to warn everybody right now. We know a little bit about some of it. Is that the best way to put it?
Well, yeah. I'm always first say I know a lot more at the end of February than I know right now. Get to see all these guys, and we talk about it all the times, the jumps that they make, and some player could have gone from being completely average to a superstar in the course of a winter, and that happens all the time. So with development and growing, etc. So 4A obviously doesn't get the amount of exposure and recognition that the 5 and the 6A do, just because of school size, and it's a reality. But there are some really good players at the 4A level. There's some great teams, and we see that every year at Springfield. And usually it's a depth issue. It's not that the best player in the state theoretically could play at a 2A school, not one of the very small schools. But what separates the larger schools from a 4A is usually pitching depth in particular. You look at the top of the 6A. They're going to roll out the teams that are going to be at the state tournament and making plays into sectional and even district championships. They're going to go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 9 or 10 arms deep, legitimately. And oftentimes with the smaller schools, they might have one great one and another serviceable one. And then if you get a really good one, they might have 3 or 4 arms, but rarely can they match up depth-wise with the 6. And that's the difference. And it's a population thing. It's an enrollment thing. It's not speaking about the quality of the player.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it did. And it's exactly the case. And I love the fact that we can bring this information. And I think that's what sometimes people miss. They go, well, why are you talking about it? There's some really good schools. I mean, John Burroughs right here in St. Louis, they won the Class 4 state championship last year, and they had depth at pitching, correct?
Yes. They had a great one, too. They could swing the bats. Had a great season. No question about it. That was a fun group.
They were 28-3. They beat
really impressive.
They beat Springfield Catholic in the state championship, and we're going to get to a little bit of this because we're going to talk. We're going to go back and look at some of the districts from last year because that's all we can do because the districts aren't out yet, folks. We can't. I wish we had the new districts, but some of these schools. I don't think there's a lot that changes every year to year, but you never know in certain respects. But I'm going to start down there with District 1, and there are 2 teams in this district, Kevin, that usually seem to come out on top, and that would be Kennett, of course. We've talked about Kennett for quite a while. They've had some, and you could probably say it was maybe 2 years ago, they maybe had one of the best players, if not the best player in the state.
Reese Robinette, and that was a year, and we talked about this, and it wasn't just Reese Robinette. They had Trey Gardner, and they had a full list of guys. They could compete with the 6A. That was one of the exceptions to the rule. That was a 4A that could play with anybody on a given night in the state, and they did. They took on all comers and won state, and a lot of fun. This year, they're back. They got another good team. I shouldn't say they're back. They haven't gone anywhere. They've stayed good. But Matt Garner, infielder, and Ashton Williams, both seniors, both committed and signed with University of Arkansas Little Rock. So a lot of talent back again down there in Kennett, and I would expect nothing less than a really good season for that group.
You got Notre Dame High School there in Cape Girardeau. They seem to be – I think they're a little better in football, though, from what I've seen a little bit. I don't know much about – but you got Frederickstown High School, Doniphan High School, and Dexter High School in that district there. But and I'm going to be honest, I want to name these schools, but I don't know a lot about them. So we'll put them out there for folks, but that's what we know. And hopefully, what in doing this, one of the things, Kevin, I think is great is if we expose some of these people, they'll contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Love to talk baseball, get to know the schools a little bit better. If you know the head coach, we'd love to talk to him. That's the great thing about it. District 2 is a little closer to home here. You got Central, that's Park Hills High School, Herculaneum High School, Perryville, Potosi, and St. Genevieve. That's all south of us in that area there. What do you know about some of these schools?
Traditionally, they've had some good players. St. Gen, in particular, has had years when they've been very, very strong. That's a traditional powerhouse. Perryville's had good runs. Herkey's had good runs, so that'll be. I would expect that to be a fairly wide open district this year.
And Potosi won that district last year. They got in, and they had to play Kennett right off the bat. There you go. So Potosi came out of that district last year, so it'll be interesting to see what they come back to. District 3, of course, here's a couple of schools. You got Afton High School in that, Bayless High School, Priory. But the two sitting there, MICDS and John Burroughs, Kevin.
This one has some depth to it. Obviously, Burroughs coming off the state championship and looking to defend. That one, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out this year. I really like that MICDS ball club. A lot of talent there this year. Henry Cordes heading to Purdue, right-handed pitcher. Andrew Clifford, another senior right-hand pitcher, heading to Denison University. Brian Gould was at the Future Games. Extremely talented, and he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's to me, he's probably the key to the team because he's a catcher, plays third base. He's going to be a big part of their offense, and then he's also on the mound. Pretty talented guy, upper 80s right-hander with a wipeout slider. So I don't know what Coach Kratz will do with him, whether he'll be a starting pitcher or if he'll be more in that closer role. I could see it going either way there. And then they have another physically talented guy, Cam Cooper. So there's a lot of talent there on that MICDS ball club. But Burroughs, obviously the defending champ, and that'll be a good matchup. Priory has a really nice bat. John Spivey, strong right-handed hitter. So there's some pieces. This is a tough district, I would say.
I remember seeing John Spivey, I think, last year at the Sports Barn at
preseason All State.
Yeah. Yep.
He's a strong kid.
Yes. The John Burroughs, don't they have a kid going to Occidental?
That's
right.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you don't see that a lot, Kevin.
No, that came across my board, and I know almost every college just from my experiences coaching, and that one came across, and I had to do a double take. I'll admit that, but a lot of good academic institutions there. Charlie Karlovac from Burroughs, catcher, heading to Occidental. You're correct.
I think that's cool. I mean, I saw that. You can't help but remember that, Occidental. I don't even know where it is. I have no clue. I've heard of it.
They didn't take your application, Brian?
I don't think my ACT, SAT, whatever you wanted to call it, probably fit their criteria.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's okay. But I think I think that battle there. I'm looking forward to that district. It's one we can follow here. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Afton, I know, plays in that St. Louis Suburban Conference, though, and I don't know Bayless and Priory. I'm not sure where they're at. John Burroughs, MICDS. I'm not sure where where they are conference wise. Do you know, Kevin, off the top of your head?
Those guys compete versus each other.
Okay. Cool. District 4 goes down the road a little bit here. Cuba High School, Owensville High School, Salem High School, St. Clair, St. James, and Sullivan. Sullivan won this district last year, and I think they got a chance probably to come back and do that again, right?
Yeah, they do. We've seen some good teams. St. Clair a couple years ago had a really nice team, but Sullivan, led by Drake Gower, big 6'6" right-handed pitcher that's upper 80s, a lot of projection there. I would think that they will be tough to beat because that is one of the big-time arms in our state with upside, and that'll be a nice trump card for them to hold for sure.
I remember seeing him. It was maybe 2 years ago when the GAC Classic, I think the GAC Classic the last year, they were bringing other teams to play GAC teams out at Lindenwood, and we saw Sullivan. They had a good squad then. They've got some talent that comes up through that, so it'll be interesting to see. And again, it's getting to know some of these schools here that are around us a little bit more and kind of watching to pay attention. We can follow Sullivan. They're probably in the map for St. Louis Post-Dispatch, I would imagine. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm going to look that up here in a minute. But we're going to move on here. We don't want to, because again, we want to touch these districts and kind of give as much as we can here with some of these. District 5, of course, here, Jennings High School, Normandy Collaborative High School, Orchard Farm. Orchard Farm won this district last year. STEM Academy at McClure South Berkeley High School, and University City High School. I don't know much about any of these programs other than Orchard Farm because it's a GAC school.
U City has produced some good ones. Bernard Gilkey came out of U City. Nelly, of course, came out of U City. He was a nice infielder. So some baseball tradition there at U City.
Sweet. There you go. Look at Kevin pulling out Nelly. I love it. Oh, man. District 6 is one to watch. It's got a couple of GAC schools in it. Bowling Green High School up there. I know Ford's Almost East played Bowling Green. They've been pretty good. They're usually they got a pretty good team up there. Of course, Lutheran St. Charles. They've been down the last couple of years, it seems. And then
they have a couple nice pieces that, if I jump in on that,
go ahead.
Brody Short heading to Lindenwood. Left-handed hitting catcher with some juice, and then Andon Hyde, who is a big, strong, physical young man, committed to Xavier. Just a sophomore, so they have a couple nice pieces. But if you're looking at it, you'd have to give the nod to St. Charles West, probably as the favorite in that one. I would have to say.
I like Aiden Hyde. That's I know he plays for Wiggins on the recruits in the summertime, and that's a big, strong kid, Mr. Hyde. It'll be interesting to see.
And West is led by Brennan Goring, committed to Mizzou, and legitimately one of the top bats in the area. I know he also pitches for them, but he's viewed as a hitter for the next level. So that'll be obviously the key for West there.
Yeah, we're going to have. In fact, we're recording this later today. We're going to have Noah Grambling and Carson Quinn from St. Charles West. We're going to talk to these young men. We just had Coach Allen on for a GAC preview. I like that St. Charles West team. But I don't want to count out Winfield. Coach Stokes up there, Jamie Stokes is doing a good job. Brady Creech on that squad with Winfield. I think that's still going to be a tough battle there in the GAC North, and that district's going to be Wright City. Usually seems to be a pretty scrappy team coming out of there. They always find a way to battle. So, and when you look at this, Kevin, District 6, of course, it was St. Charles West that came out of it. They beat that district last year was tough because Lutheran St. Charles lost to Bowling Green. Bowling Green was the 5 seed. Winfield beat Bowling Green. Wright City lost to St. Charles West 4-3. And then it was an 11-10 final for the district championship. So it was a slugfest. It'll be interesting to see what pitching depth they have this year. And, of course, that really goes to this when you kind of see that 11-10 score, correct?
Yeah, that kind of indicates the pitching depth kind of felt, but you got to shoot your shot to get there, right? So
right. Exactly. And I think that's exactly it. So I think District 6 is going to be fun. Some teams to watch there. District 7, I think that's up in the northern part, north of 70 here. Centralia High School, Hallsville, Kirksville, Macon High School, Mexico High School, and Moberly High School. All schools I'm not very familiar with.
kind of in that north central region.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to get some information more in the future on some of those. We'll watch. We'll see. We're going to keep abreast as best we can on some of these. District 8. I said this to you before we started. How come District 8 is always these districts that are just like everybody that's good?
It's a loaded one, and this one is absolutely stacked. Southern Boone, always a heavyweight at that level. Coach Ash, little nugget here for you. Coach Ash, the only Missouri high school coach to win a state championship at 3 different levels in the state. So one of our top coaches in the state. You got Father Tolton Catholic, who I believe won a 3A state championship a year or two ago. Yep. They're very good group. Lucas Weedholder was a future gamer out of there, heading to St. Louis University. Cameron Lee also there. That's a really nice team. Blair Oaks, very, very, they've been very competitive. They've had Will Lippert there. Now he's gone. He's at Mizzou now. There's a younger Lippert that is now a freshman there, so watch out. So that'll be a fun one to follow. And they've been very competitive. They've had good teams, and so that is a loaded 4A District 8 there.
And Wheatholder and the other junior, those guys are junior. Matthew States, right?
And Matthew States, yeah, very good. Yeah, 2A guy there. So that's going to be a really good district to watch. There's a lot of talent in there.
And that's Tolton Catholic for that. What I was talking about with Matt.
That's the type of district that has multiple teams that could make a Final Four run in it. So one of them won't get out of the district, and multiple of them could be legitimately make a run at the state championship. And
Fatima, they're right there. I mean, you look at this district last year when it got into it. Fulton, who was 4th place in the state, they were in the Final Four last year. Fulton came out as the 5 seed in this district, beat Tolton Catholic 6-1 in round 1, beat Southern Boone 3-2, and beat Fatima 1-0.
Just talks about the depth of the district right there. It's a really impressive run.
It is, isn't it? I mean, and so I think this, anybody can come out of that district. Looks like, because Fatima is always good. Seems like, of course, Blair Oaks. That'll be a fun one to watch, Kevin. I'm looking forward to that. And two, we had Coach Brian Ash on a couple of years ago, I think it was. I got to reach out to Coach Ash. He was fun to talk to there from Southern Boone and get a little perspective from that district. I think that'd be good. District 9, Eldon High School is the one that came out of this district. It's Buffalo, California, Eldon, Osage, and Versailles High School. I'm not quite sure where any of these are, Kevin. So there's
head towards the lake.
Head towards the lake. Okay. All right. There you go. So there you go, folks. We'll talk as much as we can about that maybe in a future date. District 10 goes back down into the southwest where Kevin was just recently. Ava High School, Hollister High School, and of course the powerhouse Logan Rogersville High School, Mountain Grove High School, Springfield Catholic, and Willow Springs. Now, out of this District 10, Springfield Catholic finished second place last year. The coaches poll had Logan Rogersville in the 6th spot. Kevin, in your last team rankings, you had Logan Rogersville number 1. You had Springfield Catholic number 5 in your last poll of the year last year. This is a pretty good district here, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a district, a stacked district, and we don't do rankings once the postseason starts. But yeah, Logan Rogersville was a heavy favorite. Now, Springfield Catholic obviously was a really strong ball club last year, and that was another district where they had multiple teams that could win the state tournament. Rogersville's absolutely stacked again this year, led by left-hand pitcher Ross Lawrence, who's heading to Missouri State. They got Jackson Rousey, who's heading to Fort Scott. Zane Hunter going to West Plains Community College. And then that Springfield Catholic Ball Club obviously lost Ben Smith and Coleman Morrison, two big-time seniors that carried the mail a little bit on the mound for them. But they got the Shen brothers, Cole and Jack, both very talented. And then Ben Smith, who's committed to Mizzou. Jack Smith, Ben's younger brother, will be a sophomore right-hander, and they'll have to depend on him. Last year, he was in a pretty nice role for a freshman. This year, he kind of moves into the front of that rotation. And that'll be a fun team. Still very talented, but a little bit younger this year.
That experience, you got, sophomores, sometimes that can tilt one way or the other.
Yes.
You really don't know, do you? So I don't know, Ava, Hollister, Mountain Grove, Willow Springs.
And Hollister 2 years ago was in the Final Four. So they've had some nice ball clubs. There's some depth there.
That'll be interesting. And, just looking at the district there, Springfield Catholic, of course, came out of that one, finished in second place last year. The district tournament for that last year, Hollister was the 4 seed and beat Ava 11-1. Springfield Catholic was the 3 seed, beating Willow Springs 4-2. And, of course, Rogersville beat Hollister. Catholic beat Mountain Grove, who was the 2 seed. Mountain Grove was the 2 seed. Beat them 5-1. And then that had to be an epic game. That would be one to watch, Kevin. Springfield Catholic beating Logan Rogersville 2-1 in that district championship.
Yes. After I saw them play each other in the regular season, and Logan Rogersville got after Springfield Catholic a little bit in that one. So that was a big-time revenge game for Springfield Catholic. So that was and while I'm on my facility kick, Springfield Catholic, great setup, amazing facility, and Logan Rogersville, all turf, big-time setup in the Springfield area for both of those programs.
I have umpired a game at Springfield Catholic. It was really nice. That is a beautiful facility. I liked it. And you walk in, it's got a real great stadium atmosphere.
That's what I like about that one. Yeah, it has stadium press box, nice dugouts, nice outfield wall, scoreboard, etc.
That's a good one. District 11, we're staying there in the Southwest with Aurora High School, Cassville, Monette High School, Mount Vernon, Reed Springs, and Seneca. Again, folks, sorry, I don't know, Kevin. Are you familiar with any of these?
I'm familiar, but I don't have a great ton of knowledge on these kids yet.
Okay. We're going to work towards some of this, folks. We want to do this because, Kevin and I discussed this. We understand some of our limitations, and you got a lot more schools here, but we want to bring this to bear because I think it's worth it. I like Class 4. The state tournament was really good at Class 4 last year, wasn't it, Kevin?
The 4A state tournament is always a good one, and there are years that the 4A champion can be just as good, if not better, than some of the larger school ones.
There you go, folks. District 12, you have, I think we go back up a little bit, Clinton High School, Harrisonville High School, Knobnoster, Nevada High School, and Pleasant Hill. Nevada came out of this conference last year, or this District 12 last year. I do happen to know, I know you've got, and I saw on the rankings, there's a senior from Knobnoster that you had on your rankings there, Kevin. I'm pretty sure, I want to see if I can find, was it a senior? I'm looking down here. Maybe it was a 2025. I think it was a 2025. I'm I'm going to pull this up because there's another young man that I want to talk about here. I know is from Knob Noster. Saw him playing for Sedalia post 642. Yep. Trent Gallagher. He's a right-handed pitcher. He's currently 2025. He plays for Yard Baseball Club in the summer. Knob Noster High School kid. 86 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah, good arm. Right-handed pitcher, pretty physical young man. Yard Baseball is a very nice program, kind of in that mid-Missouri, a little bit towards the western side, in that Warrensburg area, towards Central Missouri, there, University of Central Missouri. So I've been over there, and they've had a number of kids come out and be on the Missouri Future Games. And I remember Gallagher from their scout day, actually. And yeah, that's a pretty firm young arm that'll obviously be the top guy.
Yeah, and then I saw a young man I've mentioned to you, Josh Hagel. He was playing for Sedalia's American Legion team last year. Went 36-4. They were in the state championship tournament. Playing shortstop. This kid is dynamic. He's got a live arm. I think he throws in the low 80s himself. Shortstop, great range, a little undersized, but man, I just love the way Josh Hagel plays the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Knob Noster does a little bit there. That's the amount of information we have for Knob Noster. Which is pretty good, because I'd never heard of Knob Noster before this, Kevin.
You drive through it between Columbia and the exit to get off for Central Missouri.
There you go. And so most people
over there by Whiteman's Air Force Base.
Yes. Yeah, we saw that on our way to Kansas City this year.
Where they house a lot of the bombers, stealth bombers.
Yep. Yeah. So that's that'll be interesting there. Nevada, of course, came out of that. Nevada lost to Springfield Catholic 2-0 in the quarterfinals of the state tournament. So some pretty good baseball being played there. District 13, Boonville High School, Marshall, Oak Grove, Odessa, and Richmond. That's, of course, on the left side of the state if you're looking at the map. Kansas City area. Oak Grove, of course, on I-70 there on that side. I'm not sure what your thoughts on any of these schools, Kevin.
Oak Grove had a pretty good season last year, but I don't know much about the depth of their rosters.
Right. It was Boonville that won the district last year. They came out of that district. District 13 ended, and they won a game, beat Summit Christian Academy, and then lost to the third place team, Excelsior Springs, 7-2 in that tournament. Oak Grove, I saw a lot of kids. The Oak Grove team had a lot of the kids on the American Legion squad as well, which were in the state championships. John Hall is a young man. He's going to college. He's going to Central Methodist to play football, but he is a really good baseball player. Got great pop in his bat. Third baseman. And I really like John Hall a lot. He's a good, solid athlete. And so it'll be interesting. That's my extent of the knowledge there. But I saw a lot of the kids from Oak Grove playing in that state championship tournament. I think they'll be pretty solid again. They got a lot of those kids coming back. District 14, Kevin. There's only 4 teams here. Center High School, Southeast High School, Summit Christian Academy High School, and University Academy Charter High School. Again, none of these I know anything about. So we'll work towards some of those things. What do you got?
Summit Christian, I believe, has kind of been the dominator in that district in recent years. So, yeah, that would be my pick if I had to guess right now.
They won
But
that district last year. So there you go. District 15, you got Benton. This is where Excelsior Springs High School, who was again third place, Guadalupe Center's Charter High School, Northeast Kansas City High School, and St. Pius X Kansas City, which I think they won the championship a few years ago in Class 3, right?
they had a loaded group a couple of years ago. Excelsior Springs obviously came out last year. So this is a district with a little bit of depth, or a good amount of depth, at the 4A level. I don't know a ton about their players right now, but as I always say, I know a lot more at the end of the month.
Absolutely, Kevin. We'll come back to this. Is an early shot at this, but I like looking at these things. Last district, 16, Cameron High School, Chillicothe High School, Lafayette St. Joseph High School. They were in the state championships and played pretty well like 2 years ago.
2 years ago, they made the run to the finals.
Yeah. So then you got Maryville High School and Savannah High School, and I believe it was Maryville that came out of this district last year. So it'll be interesting to see Savannah, Maryville, Lafayette, St. Joseph, Cameron, and that is where we are with all those districts. And I just want to say this as we finish here. Class 4, this is the final rankings from the coaches poll, the Missouri High School Baseball Coaches Association. John Burroughs, of course, number 1, Springfield, Excelsior, Fulton. That's the way they always do that, because that's the way the season ended with the state championships, which I think is fine. Number 5, Kennett. Number 6, Logan Rogersville. Number 7, Nevada. So it'll be interesting to see how Nevada does coming back here. They were 19-10 last year. Central, Park Hills, and that was one we didn't know a lot about there, Kevin, that was down here where was it? Oh, I can't remember what district it was. Bummer. Park Hills. Oh, that's all right. Oh, no, it was up in District 2 with Herculaneum, Perryville High School, Potosi. And Potosi came out of that district, but the Central Park Hills was 19-4 in that district. So Potosi coming out of that was pretty good right there. So that'll be interesting to see how that district shapes out this year. Boonville, 15-13. We talked about them. They came out of that district down in District 13 with Oak Grove. And then number 10, St. Charles West, who had made a bit of a run there at the end. They got a slow start. So that's kind of where that's at. Final thoughts, Kevin?
No, look forward to following the 4A. 4A is always interesting because you can't pay you. When I say you can't pay too much, read too much into the records. Some of these schools will play a heavy schedule. They'll play the 5 and the 6As, and I don't want to say get beat up, but they might hold their own and play 500 there, and then when they're playing, get to the postseason, kind of take off. And then you have other guys, and I think it's mostly a geographical thing. Will play more schools their size and might run their record up to a great record, which is great as well. So it's an unpredictable race is what I think I'm saying.
I think you're spot on. It is, I think, a little bit unpredictable that way. I know because like what you're saying, Logan Rogersville, they're right down in that Springfield area. They'll play a Nixa. They'll play a Willard. They'll play some of these bigger schools. They'll go down to Joplin and play. So they're playing some of these 5, 6A schools.
Absolutely. They'll take on all comers.
Yeah. And I think even Kennett, because Kennett's in that Boot Hill, and I think they come up and they'll play at Jackson. They got to find schools, and to their
They
credit,
go down to Memphis, and yeah, they'll challenge themselves for sure.
So it's good baseball. I appreciate this part of it. I think it's great that we get into this a little bit here. So that was fun. I enjoyed that because it pushes. I want to be pushed to kind of look and see in some of these schools where are they at, what can we do, how do we raise that level of awareness.
Absolutely. Well, we just talked about it. There are a lot of great players at this level, and certainly some really, really good teams as well.
Absolutely. Kevin, as always, man, appreciate the knowledge, bud.
Appreciate it. A lot of fun.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Please, while you're here, take a moment, hit that subscribe button if you like what we're doing. We appreciate it. Hit the dinger next to it. It's what we do around here. Hit dingers, because that will get you all your notifications for upcoming episodes such as this, informing you of baseball around the state. And what we love to do here is talk baseball. So please, we appreciate that very much. Hey, hit the like button. If you like it, hit that like button. That helps the algorithm. That pushes it out a little bit more for us. We appreciate it. Share it with your friends. We do appreciate that very much. Everybody, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, Kevin.
Keep throwing strikes.
Hitters, hit them where they ain't. We'll see y'all next time, folks.